Video today, we are going to be discussing high vitality capsules and high vitality liquid from Phoenix Nutritionals. And we're going to speak about those things from the angle of the latest news about vegetable oil. I have Dr. Whiting here with me, the formulator of these amazing products. And let me just read you a little bit of this Washington Post article. And the article is in a few places. It's on, I think, CNN and a couple other top news outlets. Brominated vegetable oil used to keep fruity flavors from separating is not considered safe after animal studies show it had toxic effects. The FDA has proposed banning brominated vegetable oil, an ingredient found in fruity and citrus flavored sodas, including Sundrop and some other store brands, over concerns of the toxic effect shown in the animal studies. Now, I have Dr. Whiting here because and that's why I just wanted to read you a little bit about the Washington Post article, is that Dr. Whiting has been at the Institute of Nutritional Science, where they have been at the cutting edge of nutrition for over 30 years. And he was screaming this from the top of his lungs about the dangers of vegetable oils for over 30 years. And he was saying how dangerous they were, and he was ridiculed, shamed, told he didn't understand anything. I have him here to kind of explain how he knew this over 30 years ago. Please go ahead and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, for decades now, those of us in the biochemistry know, and then not in the marketing know, that vegetable oils, when concentrated. So for example, let's take corn oil. Yeah, if you eat an ear of corn, beautiful. You're going to get some corn oil. But when that's concentrated and condensed into gallons of corn oil, that corn oil becomes very unstable because it's what we call a polyunsaturated fat. And those fats or oils become very unstable when exposed to air and heat. So when we open that bottle of corn oil and oxygen gets into the bottle, and worse yet, when you pour it in your fry pan and start heating it up, those oils become rancid very, very quickly. And rancid vegetable oils produce chemicals called free radicals.
Yeah. And
free radicals are chemical no-nos that can get into your body and mutate the DNA of your living cells. And the end result can be all sorts of mutations, including many forms of cancer.
Wow.
Now, the reason why this, as you mentioned, I suffered some ridicule over this a few years ago, not so much today, because the cat's out of the bag, but it was due to the food industry. The food industry had all of this excess oil from processing animal feed. So what are they going to do? They got tanker loads of it. And so they got together, the marketing people, and said, I'll bet if we put a good spin on it and we do an anti-butter campaign and teach everybody that butter causes heart disease, said, I'll bet we could get people to buy this crap and start using it. And that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
And the outcome of that was something even worse than the vegetable oils, and that was margarine.
Yeah.
Because what vegetable oils do to damage your DNA, margarine does twice as fast.
Yeah. But I think that these days people are becoming more educated, and there are a big movement towards more healthy things. And I think there are people in the know that real butter is the way to go besides the margarine, like, let's say, Jason Fung, for example, right?
Well, I think, as I said, the cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah.
They can't get away with that marketing nonsense that they got away with in the 50s. I mean, even now, you can buy margarine, sorry to say, but there isn't much of it left because people have learned that real fat is so much better than fake.
Yeah. So if if you already know that you've been a little reckless in what you've been eating, if you know that you have been consuming vegetable oil on and off, and you weren't aware of all of this, what are things you can do now? I mean, if you're 30, if you're 20 or 30, you probably don't think about it as much. But if you're over 30, 40, 50 years old, what do you do now to, help to address the free radical damage you've already done? Is there a way to do that?
Indeed, there is. It's a two-phase program. First and foremost, you need to take high amounts of specific antioxidant nutrients.
Yeah.
Antioxidants prevent the free radicals from forming in the body. And they also help to scavenge or remove the ones that are already there. Then, depending upon the state of your cardiovascular system, you may want to consider doing some either oral or intravenous chelation to help remove some of the ionic particles that may already have built up in your arteries due to free radical damage again.
Yeah, and taking the high potency liquid vitamin like high vitality liquid or high vitality gel caps is the good base and the place to start.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when we put those formulas together, we put a high amount of the right combination of antioxidants to best aggressively attack free radical activity.
Okay. And so high vitality liquid gel caps or high vitality liquid from Phoenix Nutritionals provides the adequate antioxidant protection from free radicals after then also.
That's correct. It does help to insulate the DNA in your cells. So now what really prompted this discussion was this whole deal about sodas or soft drinks.
Yeah, the brominated.
Yeah, brominated vegetable oil. I think we've established that most vegetable oils are pretty darn nasty. The only ones that you should be using, which are maybe found in, for example, healthy diets like the Mediterranean diet, would be olive oil and avocado oil. They are monounsaturates, not polyunsaturates, and those oils are safe to use because they do not oxidize and form free radicals quickly. But now we've got another chemical wonder by the food industry called brominated vegetable oil. What is that exactly? Well, it's cheap vegetable oil, literally the cheapest junk they can find.
Yeah.
And it is infused under pressure with a trace mineral called bromine. Now, bromine is an essential nutrient. It is one of the 50 plus micro trace elements that is essential for life. In fact, a severely deficient bromine diet can result in collagen protein breakdown because bromine is necessary for collagen tissue formation. But when you start putting that stuff together with something that we know is basically lethal in any quantity, then you start getting a mix-up. You start getting the combination of the two is worse than either of them separately.
Yeah.
Because like all trace minerals, bromine is necessary in very small amounts. We're talking about micrograms or parts per million. And when you start ingesting these trace minerals, any of them, at that level, especially if they're inorganic from inorganic sources, not plant-derived, you're going to get toxicity very quickly.
Wow.
And toxicity from bromine, as well as several other trace minerals, isn't very pretty. So the concern is that when you have bromine or trace mineral infused into already potentially unstable vegetable oils, and they are consumed in any quantity. I mean, you're talking about soft drinks. There are people who guzzle these things down by the dozens.
Yeah, you see.
And so you're taking a micro trace element and you're explosively increasing its potency. It's volume. It's the amount you're ingesting.
Yeah.
And that's going to do things in a whole variety of ways. First of all, it's going to cause a variety of potential side effects, which FDA is now discovering in animal studies. And I would imagine there will be some human studies very shortly, depending upon the risk factor. But not only are we worried about the bromine infused vegetable oil, but we're worried about the imbalance between one micronutrient and the other, especially when it comes to minerals. When you have an excessive amount of one trace mineral in the absence of the others, it causes a greater deficiency of the others.
Yeah.
So now we've got what would normally be a balance of all these elements. We're now messing around and we're creating a roller coaster effect with excessive amounts of one and virtually no amount of others. And it remains to be seen how much drama that will cause inside your body.
Wow. Well, there you go, folks. High vitality capsules and high vitality liquid are the best way and a high potency multivitamin way to combat the damage that you possibly already have or are consuming right now. So thank you very much, and we will talk